Hello everyone, Swadika, and welcome to the 12th episode of Raptors in 1. So guys, today we're doing another doubleheader. Yes, I know I'm slacking off. I'm not putting out the content as quickly as possible, but life happens and priorities. So obviously that's why we're going to be having this doubleheader. So without any further ado, let's start off with the game between the Pacers and the Raptors. So let's get it. So the game between the Raptors and the Pacers, it was. It was a win. It was a win, not a pretty win, but it was a win nonetheless. A W at the end of the day is a W, whether it's pretty or whether it's ugly. It don't matter. Having said that, both teams, they were coming off from a back-to-back, so it was evenly matched, and you could tell that this game it definitely looked like both teams were on the end of a back-to-back, and both the teams, both their players, they had heavy legs, and you could tell it was a game of runs. Either team could have won, but of course the Raptors, we emerged victorious. Of course, we the North, we represent. And so, like I had mentioned, I thought the Pacers were gonna get revenge. Nope. We stuck to our guns and we got this win. So the player of the game for this game, Scotty Barnes. That's right, super rookie. Roy, I'm calling it. Rookie of the year. He will be, barring any injuries. We're going to get into that a little later. But yeah, Scotty Barnes for sure, man. He was everywhere. Especially in the fourth quarter, he came out big when we needed him to. And he is starting to embrace the role that he's been given and then some. This kid doesn't cease to amaze me. He surprises me every time. The fact that he is coming out as a big producer now, right? Of course, I'm talking about on the offensive end. We were hoping more it would be OG who will be doing the heavy lifting, which he has been. Granted, don't get me wrong there. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it seems like if the team is desperate and we need some points, we know where we're going. And it's not always going to be OG. Right now, to me at least, it seems like it's going to be a 50-50 between OG and, of course, Scotty, with, Fred at the point facilitating things, So, yeah, man, Scotty, let's look at the stats over here. So, Scotty Barnes, in 34 minutes of action, he scored 21 points, 1 assist, and 12 boards. That's a double-double right there on a back-to-back. Now, he's played 34 minutes in this game. The previous game, I'm pretty sure he played easily north of 30, easily. So, yeah, with 9 of 17 field goal percentage, very good. And, 1 steal. Not bad. And one thing I definitely want to highlight is the turnovers. He's only got 1. He took care of the ball. And I've been noticing this about Scotty's game, is he takes care of the ball very well. Now my X factor for the game, it had to be Shvi Mahailu. Oh man, he produced from the bench. He was, and you know what? He is hungry. And you can tell just by the way he's playing, the effort that he puts on the defensive end. It's like as soon as the opponent touches the ball, he wants it. He's like, whoa, don't touch my ball. He's just trying to swipe at it. He's going at it. He's playing hungry. And that is exactly what we need from our bench. Play hungry, guys. Don't worry about the other team's feelings. You just got to worry about your minutes, your spot, your opportunities. So Shvi got, in 21 minutes of action, 16 points, 2 assists, 4 boards on 60% field goal percentage. That is amazing, guys. That is amazing. Um, you know, now I want to bring something else that I'm noticing here. That's the blocks and the steals. There are no blocks, no steals. It doesn't show up on the stat line. But let me explain to you guys. Defense is more than just seeing the numbers in the stat line. Defense is about having the IQ, when to rotate, when to help out, when to when to actually go for the steal, and when to just put the pressure on the ball. And of course, you don't have to always get a block. If you even just put your hand up, or rotate at the right time, help out on the defense, alter the shot. You don't have to get a block all the time. That's just sound defense, and that's what Shvi did that game. Like, he definitely helped out on the defensive end there. He had 50% for 3-point percentage there. That was amazing. 2 for 4, not bad. Again, 1 turnover. Take care of the ball. I had mentioned this in my previous episodes. You take care of the ball, you will win the game. Surely enough, that was a difference maker. I had mentioned that, especially on a back-to-back, when you have tired legs, especially at the beginning of the season, you will have mental lapses. You will make mistakes. But it seems like these two important players, at least for me in this game, they took care of the ball. And they did exactly what I wanted them to do. Take care of the ball, defend with your legs, not with your hands. Shuffle those puppies. So one thing, guys, I'm going to come back to Scotty Barnes, okay? Yes, I'm raving about this kid, and I'm going to keep doing it. And because to me, honestly, I feel like he is the future, guys. He is the future. His IQ for the game, his feel for the game, his passion is what surprises me the most, because for rookies to have that kind of an IQ for the game, it's rare. But when it happens, you just gotta appreciate it, live in the moment, and thank the GM and the scouts to draft this guy. So I digress. Coming back to Scotty Barnes, he was definitely the key for this game. Like the way he was shooting over taller defenders like Sabonis and Miles Turner, like in the paint. That too, he was shooting sky hooks, and he was making them. He was shooting jump shots over them. Like, this is what I'm talking about, right? You may not necessarily be the biggest person on the court, but you gotta play big. You gotta feel big. You gotta think you're big. Then you will make big plays, and that's exactly what Scotty Barnes did. He did not back down from the competition. Typically, rookies would be like, this is this is a veteran power forward center all-star, and they may feel the pressure just from their status, from their reputation. But he did not back down. Nope, because all he wanted was the W. That's it. And that is why we drafted him, because that's all he was talking about, even in his interviews. I just want to win games. That's it. So it was a wild end to the game. It came down to 2 clutch free throws made by, of course, your very own Scotty Barnes, Rookie of the Year. I'm calling it. But I gotta say, towards the end of the game, we had a scare. We had a scare because he kept clutching his hand, and at first I didn't know what he was like, whether he was, he strained his groin muscle or something, because I'm like, if it's the groin, we are losing him for weeks. But no, he was clutching his hand. Now, again, the way he was clutching his hand, and you could tell he was visibly in pain, so much to the point that in the post-game interview, he couldn't even remove his headset properly, or put it on for that matter. And I was like, oh man, that does not look good. Especially that was his dominant hand too. I was like, oh, come on, we can't, like, this is rotten luck. We're still waiting for Pascal to come back. Well, we just got Chris, so we really can't afford to lose anybody else. But turns out, in the news reports, that it was just a sprain. It's not a fracture, no bones broken, just a little tear of the ligaments, and that he will probably be doubtful for the game against New York Knicks, which happened tonight. So that's it for the Indiana Pacers versus the Toronto Raptors game, and it was a grinded out, solid win, ugly win, but a grinded out. Basically the team that had the most heart won that game. And now, without any further ado, let's get into our tonight's game. Ooh boy, tonight's game was amazing. It was the New York Knicks, and as we were taking them on, and without any further ado, let's get into that. So guys, this game, the Toronto Raptors, they took on the New York Knicks. You know what? This was a classic game. So back in the 60s, I don't know exactly which year, but the Toronto Huskies had taken over the New York. I want to say like they may be Nickelbackers. I can't remember, but maybe somebody can correct me by commenting. Let me know what it was. I think they were the New York Nickelbackers, but maybe they were New York Knicks. Anyway, point being, Toronto did did play against New York, and of course they ended up losing. I think it was just by 3 points. It was like 68 to 65 maybe, or 68 to 66, maybe 2 points. I don't know. Regardless, we lost. But then coming back, fast forward to the future here. Tonight's game, we won, baby. We won, and it was a very interesting game. It was definitely a roller coaster of a game. The final score being 113 for us, lucky number 13, right? And New York Knicks scored 104. I want to show you something on the screen here, if you guys can see this clearly. And this is the flow of the game. Okay, take a look. That's the flow of the game right there. The blue is New York Knicks. The red, the Toronto Raptors. I don't know if you can really see this clearly, but this is the first 2 quarters, and this is the last 2 quarters. Now, just by looking at the flow, you're probably thinking, well, it seemed like a pretty even game. Because you had New York with the upper hand in the first 2 quarters, and then with the Raptors with the upper hand in the third and the fourth quarters. Well, no, that's not how it seemed. Again, we started off pretty bad. We kept it close in the first quarter, but then the separation started taking place in the second quarter, and there were certain players that stepped up from the New York Knicks, and those certain players are. Well, out of those certain players, I want to say at least one of them was definitely a Raptor killer. And that's Julius Randle. I've been tracking this guy since his LA days, and for some reason, he always plays well against the Toronto Raptors. And so today's game was no different, especially since the past 2 games, apparently he's been struggling. Like, he wasn't really shooting well. And now all of a sudden he finds his shooting touch. It's like, oh, it's the Raptors. I gotta shoot better. Like, God, man, we have enough Raptors killers to worry about. We don't want another one. Well, it didn't matter this time around because we still won. We still got the W, baby. That's all that matters. So you can be a Raptor killer all you want. We'll just take the W. Another Raptor killer, Kemba Walker. I gotta say. And I'm going to get into his stats later on. But, yeah, we contained him. He was not a Raptor killer this time around. I am so glad he wasn't, because I was getting sick and tired of him being a Raptor killer. He's been a Raptor killer since his days in Charlotte Hornets. And then when he moved to Boston Celtics, it was the same thing. Of course, he had, the supporting cast of Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Daniel Tice, and, of course, Marcus Smart. Oh, that guy. Anyway, but yeah, he was still killing us. Right? Not this time around. This time around, we contained him. Like, yes, there were times, I think, in the third quarter, especially where he hit like 2 3-pointers in a row, but that was the highlight of his game, pretty much. After that, everything else did not come easy. So, good job, Freddie. Good job, Gary Trent. And, of course, good job, Malachi, too. Malachi did a pretty decent job on him defensively, too. So, good job, guys. Man of the match for this game had to be OG Anunoby. Oh yeah, he again. Let's have a look at his stats over here. He's got 41 minutes. He logged heavy minutes this game. He scored 36 points, which was a career high. 2 assists, 6 boards, and 13 of 27 field goal percentage, with 1 steal and 1 turnover. Wow, can you? That's just like I'm speechless. You can have 1 turnover and you're playing for 41 minutes. Wow. Damn, man, that's protecting the ball, man. That's taking care of the rock. Good job, OG. Now I got to talk about 2 other players who happen to be the X factors. One being more of an X factor than the other, and that's just because of the minutes. But again, you know what? No, it's a tie between these 2, man. These 2 did exactly what they were supposed to do and beyond. I'm talking about none other than Gary Trent Jr. as well as, that's right, Shvi Mahailu. He's got his second game where he's gotten a lot of minutes and he is delivering. You know what, Shvi, again, this game, he looked hungry, you know? He looked like a shark. You know, he sensed the blood in the water and he is going for it. Every time, again, it's the same thing this game too, where every time he saw the ball in the opponent's hand and he was defending that ball, he just wanted that ball ripped away from him. Like, he did not want the other player to have that ball. Like, he was just hungry. And there was this one sweet play from the timeout. I gotta give kudos to Nick, by the way. I haven't given kudos to the coaching staff in this 3-game win streak. I'm sorry, Nick. You did an amazing job coaching these guys, as for the rest of the staff too. But I want to talk about Nick, man. Nick is a genius, you know, and he definitely he drew up a very nice play. It was an inbounds play. They were like two seconds and change left, and pretty much the way he did it was he loaded up one side of the court with all the other players, but then you had Shvi, who was pretty much kind of like, it looked like as if he was out of the play, but then he cut real hard to the basket, and Freddie, the inbounder, he inbounds the ball to Shvi for a dunk. Like, that's an amazing play to draw out from a timeout, you know, like, and that pretty much like kind of dictated the flow of the game afterwards in the third quarter, leading into the fourth quarter on. Let's look into the stats, you know, geeky stats. That's what we're all about, baby. Nah, I'm kidding. That's not what we're all about. We're all about opinions as well, right? And what we observe in the game. But let's just look at the stats over here. So we got, you know, Shvi, he's got in 34 minutes of action versus, 20 odd minutes in the previous game, and a few like in the teens minutes in the games before, or not even in the teens, under 10 minutes sometimes. So you can tell now the coaching staff is giving him more minutes, but there's another reason why, and I forgot to mention that first thing. But let me finish these stats and then I'm going to mention why he's gotten so many minutes. So in 34 minutes of action, he's got 15 points, 5 assists, 5 boards. That's an amazing stats line, man. Especially for somebody who wasn't getting enough minutes and all of a sudden he's gotten so many, he delivered well. 5 of 7 field goal percentage. That's amazing. You can tell he's hungry, man. Like, man, I love it. 2 steals. See? He could have had more. He really could have had more. Again, like I said, sometimes the stats do not reflect the effort that the players put. And that was what our defense was this game, especially in the third leading into the fourth quarter. I'm going to get into that later on. 2 for 4 3-point percentage. Again, second game in a row he's gotten 50% from the 3-point range. You know, 0 turnovers. I love it. I love it when one of the emphasis is protecting the ball. That's how you win games, ladies and gents. If you do not protect the ball, you can have a flashy game. You can have an amazing game. You can have a game like Russell Westbrook just a few games ago, or maybe the last game, I don't know which game it was, where he got a quadruple double. But he had a quadruple double in turnovers. The fourth stat line was 10 turnovers or so. And they lost. So he had a spectacular game. He had a triple double, but then he got that quadruple double in turnovers. Now, I'm not saying he was the sole reason, but he was definitely one of the main reasons that the Lakers lost. But again, I digress. Let's come back to the Raptors. And look into Gary Trent's stats over here. 42 minutes. He logged in some heavy minutes this game. I think he had the most minutes in this game. He got 26 points, 2 assists, 2 boards, 10 of 22 field goal percentage. Check out the number of steals. 4. Man, Gary Trent in the past 3 games, the way he's been stealing the ball, oh man, wow, it's amazing how he has put his emphasis now is not just the offense, it's the defense. If anything, he wants to defend more, and it seems like because he's doing that, he's getting to stay on the court more. That's just amazing. 4 of 11 3-point percentage. Whatever, man. We got the W. I don't care. Again, how many turnovers? 1 turnover in 42 minutes, guys. You have to understand this. These are the first few games of the season. And to be taking care of the rock this well with logging heavy minutes like that, it shows like there's something going on with this squad. Now it seems like they're starting to figure out their identity. And that's the scary part. They're not even complete yet. Siakam is out. Oh yeah, that's right. Speaking of players who are out, Scotty Barnes didn't play tonight. Yeah, and we still won, ladies and gents. This is a deep team. So Justin Champagnie got a few minutes too, and he did exactly what the coach asked him to do and needed, and yeah, like he provided a little bit of spark off the bench defensively, and he did him right. But again, Shvi Mahailu, oh man, that was definitely a good pickup, man. That was definitely a good pickup. Freddie had a pretty good game too. In 37 minutes of action, he's got 17 points, 8 assists, 9 boards, almost a triple-double. And yeah, I gotta say, all the shots, everybody played well. Everybody played well. I'm gonna mention one more person before I forget about this guy. But let me finish off with Freddie over here. So Freddie, even now you're gonna look at the field goal percentages, 7 of 16. It doesn't matter because those 7 points, they were timely baskets. They were baskets when we really needed them. And they were, let's see, how many 3 points? 3 of 8. Yeah, I know, it's not that impressive. But it's still, they were timely buckets, right? And he's got 2 steals. Obviously, he played very good defense. And you know what? Everybody on the Raptors, and it seems like this is the defensive scheme, they're going to help out on the weak side and the blind side, and that's how they're going to get those steals. They're jumping the passing lanes. Whatever defensive training they've been doing, it's clearly paying off. So guys, keep it up. Good job, coaching staff. Good job, training staff. Really good job, guys. I'm going to add one more name to the X Factors list. I know I've already mentioned Shvi Mahailu and Gary Trent Jr., but I'm also going to mention our Canadian-born Khem Birch. That's right. Khem Birch, he had some valuable minutes. He played big. We needed him to play big, and he played big. In 31 minutes of action, just so you know, again, Scotty Barnes was not playing, which is why Khem got some good looks in there, and of course Mahailu got some good looks in there. He got a lot of minutes. So, like I was saying, with Khem Birch, 31 minutes of action, 6 points. Again, he wasn't necessarily there to score, ladies and gents. He was there to crash the boards. He was there to set those hard screens, to be physical in the paint. That was his job. 3 assists, 8 boards. Exactly. So that's exactly what he was there for. Set those hard screens, roll to the basket, make something happen. 3 of 6 field goal percentage, 1 block, 2 steals. You know the defense was there. Sure, the stat line, it doesn't look as great, but let me tell you, he helped out. There were times where Kemba Walker was trying to drive into the paint, and 3 or 4 times he stopped him in the paint, and not just by blocking. No, he just kind of like, he was just there. He was just a presence. And Kemba Walker, he's one of the good point guards, one of the elite point guards, I would say, when it comes to driving into the paint. And he had 2 turnovers, so again, he took care of the rock too, right? Now, of course, now that I've made all these claims that, our defense was great from the third quarter leading into the fourth quarter, and, the on-ball pressure was great, and we had steals and stuff. Yeah, I could say all this, but you know what? I got my geeky stats to back me up. So let's get into those stats. So if we're going to be looking at the steals here, Raptors got 12 steals in the game. New York had 3. Ladies and gents, New York Knicks, they were known to be a good defensive team last season, and arguably this season too. So for them to only get 3 steals and we got 12, yeah. The blocks were even, 4 and 4, 4 apiece. We had more points in the paint. Again, they are on paper a bigger team than we are, especially in the paint. But hey, it's the mindset, right? It's like Tupac said, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight in the dog. And that's exactly what the Raptors do. They play big. They don't have to be big. They will play big. Fast break points. That was another thing, man. The fast break points that we have 21 fast break points. And they had 3 fast break points. Wow. That's defense. Let's look into the turnovers. So we had 8 turnovers for the full game. Remember, see, this is what I was talking about, taking care of the rock. You take care of the rock, you'll win the game. And how many turnovers did New York have? Twice the amount. They had 16 turnovers. So that's 16 turnovers leading into 21 fast break points. Yeah, man, that's scary. That was some suffocating defense. Oh, you had to see it. You had to see it. I kept saying until the last episode that the Raptors as a whole need to improve their free throw percentage. Surely enough, this time around they scored 92.9% from the free throw line. You see what happens? They're free. If you can hit your free throws even like anywhere from mid 70s to mid 80s for a game, it will help you win the game. And now they scored 92.9. So guys, final thoughts for this game, man. I gotta say, as much as I would like to say that you have to play the full 48 minutes, it worked out at the end, yes, but they had to expend a lot of energy. Some players like OG and Gary Trent and even Freddie, like they had to play some heavy minutes just because they were better at defending. If you had played the full 48 minutes from first quarter till the end, then we wouldn't be expending so much energy and we wouldn't be having certain players logging in heavy minutes. Having said that, it was a good win still. I had my doubts. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Before this game started, I was actually picking New York to win it. Surely enough, I was proven wrong. Our next game is going to be on Wednesday. We're taking on Washington Wizards. Raptors, this has to be a revenge game, guys. You just got to be looking for revenge. So next game, Toronto Raptors, they're taking on the Washington Wizards, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do I think it's going to be a W? You know what? I'm going to ride the hot hand. Yes, I'm saying Raptors are going to win. It's going to be a close one, but we're going to win. So that's it for me, folks. Again, if you like my content, hit the subscribe button, and or leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the game, or who do you think is going to win in the game against Washington Wizards, and or anything else you want to talk about. Just comment away, and I would love to reply back. And of course, don't forget the thumbs up button. Obviously, it's nice to see those thumbs ups. So that's all. Have a good night. Long con. I'm out.